Hello there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from Let's Stay Gamers, and welcome. So today we're taking a look at the major update. Now, a real lot has been done to increase performance as well as visuals, and quite a few other little mechanical tweaks that will really benefit your game. Now, first off, I want to show you a few of the visual and sound. So you'll pick them up as soon as we go through the video, so turn the sound up a little bit louder than usual. So you can see as we enter the cockpit, we've got a different sound. Now listen to the thrust sound of these hydrogen thrusters. You can see it's a lot more enjoyable, especially when you're blasting off from a planet. So you can see as we roll, as we turn. Not got anything new in that department, but you can see as we thrust, you really feel like there is some sort of vector thrusting going on there, especially if you've got a smaller craft. So the next thing I want to show you is the weapons themselves. So we've got ourselves the rocket launcher. Now there's a whole new sort of damage and visual damage experience going on. So I'll fire a few rockets, well, I'll fire a volley. So you can see, just look how beautiful that is. It makes ship battles extremely satisfying to watch. So I'll just show you a quick volley of rockets again. Look at that. Look how the impact has created these beautiful little explosions on the craft. As well as if you hit different objects, they create different sorts of explosions. Armor basically kind of pops at the moment. So let's just realign my ship a little bit. So we'll tilt it a little bit up. And we'll fire another round. So you can see how that rocket hit there has caused some damage. Done the usual voxel twisting that we love. So we'll line this one up for a proper attack now. And let's see if that looks about right. There we go. Oh, absolutely lovely. Look at all the sounds. You can hear the metal of the ship creaking. What's more enjoyable about this, especially when you're running through the ship in the middle of a battle, you can just hear the ship creaking and being damaged around you part by part. So let's let off a few volleys, maybe in a bit of a movement. Just combining these new visuals together, as well as just extremely stimulating, it just makes battles feel a lot better. So you can see all the dots on the actual target of the ship there, how they turn in. Oh, lovely. Just a sitting duck, especially when you're assaulting an outpost and there's machine gun fire going out as well, which is just really nice. The impacts are actually pushing that ship as well off in that direction. So let's just slow ourselves out. You can see the impacts in the distance as well. So let's get ourselves a Gatling gun, for instance. Let's see if we can get one of them Gatling gun turrets mounted on here. There we go. Let's put a few of these guys on here. Just stick them across the bow like so. So you can see just the sort of visuals that we're getting. So let's increase the thrust of that. Just listen to the cracks of distant gunfire as well. You can see the traces of these little blobs, especially if you're between the fire. So you can imagine if you're inside a fighter and you're actually moving through the area, you can just see the trace of fire coming towards you. Let's scoop this ship around. See the little flashes. Oh, look at that. Look at them thrusts. Thrusters engaged. Let's engage back. Wow. It's going to be amazing. Hopefully they develop a few more weapons as well. So that ship is coming back in the direction towards this craft. Let's actually attempt to go in for a ram. So let's get full thrust on this and just see what sort of damage the new sort of visual effects are going to give us as we crash into it. We've got the Gatling guns kicking in. And let's pop that in there. Thrusters are at full. Let's see the sort of damage we're going to get here. Wow. Really visually pleasing. Now that ship's just pushing away at it. So let's grab ourselves the ship once again. Let's make sure we get the Gatling guns on one side. So you can see the smoke coming out of there. Let's release a really close volley. Just see what sort of damage we can do. Wow. I already think that space battles are going to be so much more engaging with the visual effects. So now that we're down at planet level, I've got myself a little rover so we can inspect the damage of the blocks. Now, pretty much the damage of the blocks is the same on the large scale as it is on the small, but obviously it's been made a little bit smaller. So if we engage some of these blocks here, you can see we've got that beautiful little pop-in visual effect as parts come off. Now, if we engage, say, for instance, one of these spotlights, you can see how they pop off at a different sort of velocity. And also, if we engage the wheels here, you can see that the wheels pop off as well. So that means that if this vehicle was coming towards our outpost and we had control of a turret, we could take out its Gatling guns, or maybe if we had a sniper cannon, we could snipe out its tires. And they would just pop off and be extremely visualizing. Now, say for instance someone leaves an exposed reactor on one of their ships. This is also great as well. So you can see that reactor actually explodes now as well. causing a little bit more damage. Now, also quite like the visuals on this. I'm not too sure if this is super new, but you can see the little glass chunks peel off, and on the inside you used to be able to see this in a few patches ago, but just everything looks a lot finer, a lot more reserved. Very nice detail work. Anyway, let's take a look at the new rover settings. So the next factor I wanted to cover of this major update is the wheels, and more importantly, how the rovers now handle. Number one, there's been a load of features added in the menu that I'll show you once I've tested this out a little bit, but you can see how the rover actually acts as you would expect it to. Now, previous builds, the bane of your existence in a rover would be a crater like this, where you'd start to slip yourself into the center and you won't be able to stop. But with this, with some nice careful key movements, you can first slide yourself into the crater, and then in the previous build you'd be stuck down here. But now look at this vertical surface. We've got enough grip and friction that we can travel up the wall. So I can also do this. I can hit my parking brake, and you'll notice that there is very, very minor sliding once all four wheels have got grip on the ground. So let's actually press P and we'll continue driving, and we've got actually enough grip to get out of that crater. This is going to make so many more rover builds actually viable. Now, the next thing I wanted to show you was the option menu for the wheels. So previously we only had 3 options. Now we have got double that. But the most important one I want to actually show you here is the automatic increase of the strength and suspension spring when it's about to land, otherwise known as air shock. So what this actually does is, say we do a big jump. Let's attempt to do one of these little ramps that I've set up over here. It might not end too well with this rover because I've got some like extra wheel well bits on. But we'll drive over here and we'll do a little jump over the ramp, and the suspension will actually firm up before it hits the ground. So we'll just reverse over this. So as it's about to hit, you'll see it takes the impact very nicely. So if we go back to this option and we go to all wheels and we turn air shock off, the first thing you'll notice as we come over some of these mounds, our wheels will not adjust and stiffen up. This means that we can bottom out the suspension and damage our craft. But on some builds, it's something you might want to do. It's just a whole nother level of options that I think is very important in building your own creations. But more importantly, we can really, really mess around with some of the friction and speed settings and still be able to control it. So if we raise the speed and we raise the friction, we can actually get a much better acceleration. And in most cases, we're still able to control the craft. And I'm not sure if this is exactly true, but what I've noticed is if you do hit a big jump, oh, that's not good. We've damaged the front of the craft off. You can kind of control it with the AWS keys. You can see how the suspensions didn't absorb it because I don't believe I actually had the air shock on. So we'll attempt to jump with air shock. So you can see how the suspension actually bottomed out there. But in this jump, we'll actually go over and we'll use the WS and D and try to level ourselves off. Oh, too much weight on the front. We've done a forward roll and we've smashed off the front. But you can see that new damage system taking an effect there as we smash it into things. A lot more fun and definitely really cool to look at. Anyway, I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and if you loved this video and want some more, hit that like button,